If everything was easy, okay? If everything was easy in your leadership world, you wouldn't be necessary. I want you to just let that sink in for a moment. If leadership was easy, you probably wouldn't be needed in the role that you're in today. Welcome to the It Matters podcast. I'm your host, Walter Perez, and let's dive in as we help you grow your mindset and elevate your leadership. Hey everybody, my name is Walter Perez, and welcome to the It Matters podcast. I appreciate you joining me on another episode. Honestly, I'm very thankful and grateful that you have chosen to spend some time with me as you continue, to be on purpose, to be tapping into your potential and figuring out how to be a better leader, how to lead well in your life, how to be that healthy whole human that we've been talking about lately. I hope this is adding value to you, and so I really appreciate you spending some time with me. A little quick favor, if this is helping you out, would you mind commenting? Would you mind sharing? Would you mind following? There's probably somebody in your life that needs to hear this kind of stuff, and I would really appreciate the share as we can continue to spread this good message. Okay, so I have something on my mind that I've been wanting to kind of, talk about and just something that I've been reflecting and thinking about. One of the things I get to do is lead. I have had the privilege of sitting in different roles and organizations, and leadership has looked very different for me throughout my life, and even today. Today, it's really interesting in the privilege that I get, to serve and be able to lead. And so this thought comes from that, and this is this idea that leadership is hard. I said it. Leadership is hard. It's okay to say that, but that's why it matters. And I wanted to bring you a thought behind this because I think we need to walk through this a little bit and understand why it is hard and why it's important for us to talk about it. And this is the thing. If leadership was easy, people would do it well. Everyone would do it well. But I'm noticing, and I think some of you would agree with me, that not everybody leads well. We have seen it over and over where leaders may drop the ball, where leaders don't see the importance of improving and growing and really focusing on what it looks like to be a leader that leads well. See, leadership, I think, exists because it's hard. I think there's going to be challenges and hard things to do, and that's why we need leadership. Leadership is not going to be smooth. Trust me, it's never smooth as you want it to be or as you think it's going to be, because leadership is complicated. Leadership is emotional. Leadership has its uncertainties. It has its weight of being human. And when humans are involved, that's where leadership gets a little bit more complicated. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about this because if we can understand maybe the premise of why leadership might be hard, then we can understand how to lead better. And so I want to maybe ask you a question. Maybe are you feeling that leadership is hard right now? If you do feel that is true, I want to tell you something that will hopefully maybe set you free a little bit. I want to set you free for a moment and tell you that if you think it's hard, it's not because you're failing. It's not because you're failing, but it's because you're actually leading. You're actually leading, and you've actually tapped into the source of realizing, okay, leadership is not just this walk in the park. There's actually things that we're trying to lead, solve, we're trying to figure out. And so there are some challenges that are going to come your way. So leadership only exists because something needs guidance. Something needs courage. Something needs care. That's why we're having this challenging times in leadership. If everything was easy, okay? If everything was easy in your leadership world, you wouldn't be necessary. I want you to just let that sink in for a moment. If leadership was easy, you probably wouldn't be needed in the role that you're in today. It wouldn't be necessary for you to actually bring your skill sets and lead in whatever capacity you're leading in. So if that's true, I want you to understand why it's hard. Okay, I want to just give you some thoughts, maybe a little bit of a list that you can think about, and maybe you can agree with me and you're going to go, okay, Walter, you're right. I understand that. Leadership can get hard because you got to make hard decisions. You, day in and out, or however that looks like, you're making some tough, hard decisions, and that's not easy. You get to have some hard conversations. Conversations are never that simple. They're never that easy. Hard conversations are difficult. You have to have hard seasons sometimes. You might be winning in one season and then something comes that is just not working out in your organization, in your team, in your life, in your family. And there's some hard seasons that are going to come. And that's really a guarantee. It's never going to be easy. There's going to be hard people in your life. People are just challenging at times, and because there's different dynamics, different relationships, personalities, skill sets, all that, you're going to have hard people to deal with. And you're going to have hard pressures. There's going to be pressures of life that happen that are unexpected, that you don't realize that are coming, and those pressures are hard to deal with. Leadership is hard. But this is it. The question isn't, why is leadership so hard though? Okay? The real question is, will you lead in the hard? Will you lead in the hard? That is my question for you today. That's my challenge, my encouragement to you. Will you lead in the hard? So as we think about this, I want to give you some thoughts as we can just kind of unravel this and see if I can add some value to you, okay? Leadership is hard because people are hard. Leadership is going to be challenging because people can be challenging. Why are people challenging? Let's dissect that a little bit deeper. There's emotions that are involved when we have people involved. There's expectations that come when there's people around us. There's ego. Have you seen that before? There's fear. Man, there's different types of emotions that drive people, and fear can be one of the top things that cause some chaos sometimes. Insecurities come with people. But there's hope that also comes with people. But hope is sometimes this desire for the future that we don't know how to maneuver through, but that still comes with people, and we need to know how to navigate through that. That's what people bring to the table. See, this is what I really want you to get, and I think I've been speaking about this from day one on the It Matters podcast, and that is that you're not managing tasks when you're a leader. You are leading humans. You are leading humans, and the quicker we can understand that, our leadership is going to get transformed, because when people are involved, there's a beautiful thing, there's a challenging thing, but there's something really neat that is going to transpire because we are going to lead them well. So I want you to think about this. Projects are easy. I think when you really understand something, projects can be easy. I think processes can be easy once you figure out systems and you've put it in place. Spreadsheets, even if you're not a fan of them, once you have the system, spreadsheets can be easy and can be figured out, and you can have something drawn out so you know how to do it. But people aren't. People are not that simple. People have bad days, okay? You know that. You have bad days. I have bad days, right? We have hidden wounds. There's things that affect us on a daily basis, depending on the season we're going through. We have big dreams. We have complicated lives also. And so humans are not that simple. And leadership lives right in the middle of all that. That's where leadership takes place, and that is actually where leadership comes alive. And so I want to encourage you with some thoughts here. Don't resent people, okay? Don't resent people. Try to understand them. Try to figure out a way that you are on purpose to understanding people more. Don't avoid people. In leadership, we cannot avoid people. In fact, we need to grow with them. We need to walk along with them. We need to guide them, train them. We need to grow with them. And don't label people. Don't label people. That is so simple to do, and it's an easy way out, but we need to learn people. We need to understand how they think, how they function, what is going on. I want to encourage you to learn people. Leadership is hard because people are complex. All right? I think I've made a good point. They're complex, and it's going to bring challenges in that season, in that setting. People are complex, and we need to just have an understanding on how to walk with them through that. Okay, so maybe another thought that I want to bring you to is that leadership is hard because it will require decisions. My goodness, I think that is one of the top on the list when it comes to leading, is that leaders can not only make big and great decisions, but they have to be able to make some tough decisions. See, leadership always carries a weight, and one of the weights is in the form of choosing and making decisions. Why? Because you're choosing direction sometimes for a team, for people, for yourself. You're saying no. Man, saying no is actually harder than you think sometimes when you have a bigger picture and a bunch of people that you're leading. Saying no can be hard and complicated. Holding standards can be challenging and hard. Having uncomfortable conversations can be hard as well. And taking responsibility when things fail. That's one huge. The weight of responsibility is a big part when we're leading an organization, a company, a group of people. When we're leading anything, the weight of responsibility is going to be a huge part. See, as leaders, all of us don't really get this luxury of comfort when we're leading. See, we get the responsibility of clarity. Our responsibility, our desire, our goal should be always how do we bring clarity to any situation? How do we help people live in clarity? And sometimes that will require stepping out of our comfort zone. Sometimes that will require getting people to stretch a little bit. So this is what some of the things that leaders that lead in hard seasons will have to face sometimes. Maybe disappointing someone. That is just a fact. Protecting the culture is something that you have to do. Correcting behavior. Man, that comes again with having tough conversations. How about making calls without the perfect information? Sometimes not having all the information and you still got to make a call. And that is something that is part of the art of leadership. There's things that you can lean on and people that you can lean on and information and experiences to help you make these decisions, but you're not always going to have all the information you need, and you're going to have to make those calls. But if you avoid hard decisions, okay, hear me out. If you avoid hard decisions, you don't remove pain, you're just going to delay it. You're not just going to remove it and forget about it. It's just going to show up somewhere else, or it's going to show up later. And so we want to be able to lean into making these hard decisions, right? Great leaders step towards tension, not away from it. I've talked about that before. We live in the tension and we step towards it and we figure it out. Here's another thought. Leadership is hard because growth is hard. Man, I'm very passionate about this topic, this idea, because growth is important in the life of a leader. These are the things that will expose you as a leader if you're not careful. Self-awareness is a big part of leading. You have to be self-aware. You have to be emotional mature. If you're not, it will challenge you in that. You're going to be challenging your consistency as a leader. You're going to be challenged, here's one, your humility. You can't always lead in pride. You shouldn't be leading in pride. You shouldn't be leading as a control freak, as you know everything. Humility is going to play a huge part, and leadership is going to challenge you in that. And leadership is 100% going to challenge you in your courage. Are you courageous enough to lead people? Are you courageous enough to lead in tough situations, in tough seasons? How is your courage as a leader? See, leadership doesn't just reveal teams, it reveals leaders. It doesn't just reveal a group of people, it reveals the leader. But it can be a good thing. The pressure you feel isn't just about others. It's not just about others changing. Let me say it that way. It's about you changing. And sometimes as leaders, we focus on everybody else. But I want to encourage you to think and look inward as well, and look at the man in the mirror, the person in the mirror, the woman in the mirror, and say, okay, I need to change if I want others to change as well. I need to lead by example. Because in that process of change, there's things that are going to come your way that you're going to have to figure out, like triggers. As leaders, we're going to get triggered. Maybe things that we haven't dealt with in the past and things that we're working through, and they're going to get triggered. How is that causing you to positively change? Blind spots are going to come up. People are going to help you identify those. Tough times will help you identify blind spots sometimes. As you lead in groups, you're going to get humbled and you're going to see that you have some blind spots, and how are you going to handle that? What about communication gaps? It's an ongoing thing that you got to figure out, because you're never going to get it perfect. And you're going to learn to practice patience. Patience is a key thing in the process when you lead people, because not everybody's going to lead at your pace in the way you want it and how you want it. So I'll say this. If leadership feels uncomfortable, it might be because it's upgrading you. You're getting upgraded, and that's a really good thing. Lean into the uncomfort, lean into the challenge and the stretching, and get upgraded, my friends. Get upgraded. Hard seasons produce healthy, whole humans. We can talk more about that later, but this is a good thing. I want you to be these leaders that not just tries to fit in perfectly and just, that everything has to look so good, but realizing that there is an art and a science to all of this. And then another thing is that I want you to know that leadership that is hard matters. And so leadership is hard because it matters. Leadership has purpose. And we need to go from understanding that there's going to be pain and hard things, but there's purpose behind all that. And if we can lead on purpose, we're going to be able to make our impact enormous. We're going to be able to actually hit the heart of the matter. We're actually going to be able to impact people and transform people in the process. See, we don't choose easy leadership, okay? We don't choose easy leadership. We choose meaningful leadership. I desire to help all of you understand what does meaningful leadership look like. But meaningful means that it's going to have to get tough and challenging at times, and it's not going to be easy. If leadership wasn't important, it wouldn't be costly. I want you to think about that. If people didn't matter, it wouldn't hurt. If impact didn't matter, it wouldn't stretch you. I want you to meditate on those thoughts, okay? I'll say it again. If leadership wasn't important, it wouldn't be costly. If people didn't matter, it wouldn't hurt. If impact didn't matter, it wouldn't stretch you. The difficulty of your leadership is actually proof of its value. I want you to take that and sit on. Think about it. Munch on that. The difficulty of leadership is actually proof of its value. So, I want to encourage you today to really think on these thoughts of don't quit in the messy middle, okay? Don't throw in the towel. Don't check out in conflict. Don't go silent in pressure. Slow down and just think through this. Great leadership shows up when others pull back. There's going to be people that are going to run away, that are going to pull back, but you as a leader that wants to lead well, you're going to show up, and that's already half the battle. Half the battle's already won in that when you show up, and I want to encourage you to be a leader that shows up. Lead in the heart, okay? Lead in the heart. Choose to lead in the heart and choose to be a leader that's going to break through that. So I want to give you some quick, maybe thoughts that you can take with you today. Like, don't personalize everything. As leaders, don't take everything personal. Not every reaction is about you. Lead from clarity, not emotion. Don't be an emotional leader. Figure out how to be a leader that is stable, that figures out whether it's a good day or a bad day, regardless of what's going on. It's not always going to be about you, but how can you be that steady Eddie? How you can be that person that knows how to control their emotions. Have the conversations you are avoiding. This is big. Avoiding always costs more later. You don't need to wait. You don't need to wait until later. Do it now. Stay human. Stay human. Leadership isn't perfection, it's presence. So stop trying to do everything so perfect. That's not what leadership is. Humans, we're gonna make mistakes. There's an art to that. As human beings, there's just more than just doing everything so perfect and right. Okay? Figure out how to be a human that is present, a leader that is present. And get support. Get support. As leaders, it can be tough when we're trying to do it on our own. Leaders need other people. Leaders need other leaders. And so figure out how you can live in a way that you're not isolating yourself. Figure out a way that you realize that when things get heavier, you just need others around you. And that's not a sign of weakness. As I've said before, it's a sign of wisdom. And so figure out a way to get the support you need to be able to do your leadership. And finally, remember why you lead. Reconnect to purpose when pressure hits. Remember the purpose, remember the meaning, remember why you're doing all of this, and go and be that leader that other people deserve to have and the leader that you need to be. The goal isn't to make leadership easy, it is to make leaders strong. And I think you have it in you. I think you know what to do, and I just want to encourage you to do hard things. I want you to think in ways that are going to help you grow, that are going to help you be there, that show up, and I think you're going to do great things, okay? Leadership, remember, is hard, but it doesn't mean you're doing things wrong, or it doesn't mean you're failing. It means that you're doing something meaningful. And so I want to encourage you today to go lead in your capacity and go do that thing that is causing some challenges. Leadership is hard, you can admit that, but leadership is worth it. It may not be easy, but it's going to be worth it. And so I want to encourage you to go out. I'm excited that you joined me today. I hope that that's value. Come back as we continue to talk about things that matter, because I want to help you. I want to help you on this journey to not only live, but lead well. Catch you in the next episode.